let's talk about Alien Romulus. So Alien Romulus is the most recent in the Alien franchise. I did previously rank all these films along with the Predator films just a month ago, or now almost 2 months ago. And yeah, it's an hour long, so maybe watch it at like 1/7 speed, if you can do that. But yeah, ultimately, what did I think about this film? Now, this film has been out for like 2 weeks, I think. So I might get into a bit of minor spoilers, but to start off with a non-spoiler review, I like this film. I think it's very good. I think it does a good job at harkening back to the original film. I think it has some great cinematography, and while I do like the contrast of the sort of very dark shadows, and I think it's very cool looking, and perhaps the idea was to maybe make it to where you can't tell where the xenomorph begins and the shadows end or something like that. Like, I think that's very cool. But on the other hand, I could have used this film to maybe be a bit brighter. I said this to my uncle, and he understood what I meant. So hopefully I make sense there. Or maybe that's an oxymoron. Who knows? But overall, I did enjoy this film, and I think the actors are doing a good job. I think Rain and Andy both did a great job. I think Rain herself, you know, she got some notoriety or, you know, fame last year for doing Priscilla, and obviously earlier this year she did the controversial film Civil War, and there are people who, of course, sung her praises in that film. And for me, I know her most from Pacific Rim 2, so like there are some early line readings that I felt weren't super great, but I do think that actress who plays Rain, I think, does a good job emoting in this film. She does a good job at, you know, being, you know, a puddle of tears and being afraid. And I think all these actors did a very good job at acting terrified of the aliens, especially compared to some of the brilliant acting choices that people who were like in their mid-ages, you know, in their 50s were doing in this film. It's impressive what these people who are my age were able to do. So seriously, bravo to them. They were able to act more scared than people who, you know, were alive during the like Carter administration. Although there are like 3 actors in this film who do like a really good job, and I've of course sung their praises before. But no, I think the whole cast did a really good job this time, and yeah, I did like it. Overall, I will say one of my issues is that there's one guy who's like a jerk to Andy, and Andy is obviously, so he's like an android and is a bit more on like the spectrum, or is sort of presented as being on autism. And you know, me, I am autistic. I used to be categorized under something called Asperger's, which doesn't exist anymore. So that's a thing. But as someone who has autism, I thought he did a very good job of playing a bit more of a severe version of something that I have, and I think he did a good job. Him and Billy from the Power Rangers movie from like 5 years ago, you know, both did it, I think, a good job playing autism, and they're playing it very differently. And I don't know, I gotta talk about the 17 Power Rangers film at some point. Definitely on my bucket list to review next year. But yeah, that being said, I think I think all the actors did a good job. A problem I do have is that the guy who's the jerk to Andy, this is what I was saying, he is just unreasonably a jerk. Like, it's kind of implied that these kids have been working their entire lives, and they're like supposed to be like early 20-somethings. They've been working their entire lives, and the life expectancy on the planet that they're on a mining planet, and they've basically been employed their entire lives, you know, from the Wayland company. And it's sort of implied that you die relatively young on this planet because there's no sun, and the, you know, mining isn't very much the safest job. And I don't know, I feel like, and like with the reason why he's acting so mean to Andy, you think that he'd be a bit more understanding that like Andy isn't part of the problem that got to give him his tragic backstory. And that's a bit annoying. A bit like this guy's acting unreasonably dickish. And yeah, I don't know, that's, I don't know, whatever. He's very annoying too, and I'm happy that he got his comeuppance. And yeah, and you know, you can kind of tell a cannon fodder in films like this. You can kind of tell a cannon fodder from a mile away. They also do something that, so I don't mind Tarkin as much as other people do, but they do something very similar to Tarkin, very similar to the CG Christopher Reeve from last year's Flash. And I don't know, it feels very strange. It feels like, because the character isn't exactly, it's a character who is supposed to be harkening back to a character from the older movies, and it feels like you could have either, there were two options that they could have took, maybe three. Forgive me, I'm still sick. Maybe three. Option one, recast. You could have easily just gotten some guy, somebody in their 30s, 40s to come in and play this character. Option two, you get two of the guys who are still alive who have played synthetics before to come in and do it. Either the guy who played Bishop, who my uncle actually thought this was, and or James McAvoy. Sorry, not James McAvoy. He has a new movie coming out. That's why I'm thinking about him. Or Michael Fassbender. Or no, those are the two options. I was gonna say, or just not do it, but like what they do with this character is like tying back into the previous film, so you kind of do need it because it's rather interesting. And I do like what this film does with the lore of the Alien franchise overall. But like overall, like it does really great stuff with the lore, very interesting things with the lore. And I kind of can't wait to rewatch it just so I can maybe like pick up on some things that I missed. But no, it was really good, and I really did like it a lot. And this was my first like horror movie in the theaters. Like I've seen horror movies like at my house or my apartment, where you can like scream and like be like, don't go in there, you stupid idiot. Like you could be a lot more animated. And I mean, this movie is very scary, and there are moments where you're supposed to like react, but there was only one part where I really like did like a scream, and that was towards the end, and it was very much a thing of everyone else in the theater sort of exclaimed, and everyone else in the theater was just like so like I felt sort of like inclined to and yeah, like it's a good movie, and I like the ending because the ending had like a few fake outs, and like I really appreciated like how the ending was very similar to the original while also giving it more of a modern like sort of action-y take to it. I appreciated that. I think the best part of Covenant, I don't know if I said this in my ranking video. Hopefully by the time this video comes out, I will have added timestamps to that video. But like, there's like something I think is really cool about the, like Covenant is the final fight in the zero-G airlock, where she, has to, where the not Ripley of that movie, who's played by like Waterston or whatever, she has to trap the xenomorph in like the teeth of a giant bulldozer. She has to trap him in the teeth of that, and like literally chucks the thing, you know, the xenomorph out of the docking bay or the hangar bay doors, you know, and like it's really cool, and like there's dust particles flying everywhere, and like it looks like snow and like very metallic, and it looks super cool. And I think that's something that I think, and something that is kind of cool about every Alien movie, is that they kind of, generally speaking, end with good or bad, some kind of confrontation with the xenomorph. You know, I think that's really cool, and it's very fun to sort of see how the different directors over the years, over the 50 years of this franchise's existence, you know, how they changed or how they approach the final confrontation. And I think Fede Alvarez, is it Fede Alvarez? I think it's very interesting how he chose to do it. And I also do like the brother-sister angle. I think Ray and Andy do a very good job at being very believably siblings. It kind of feels like something that Alvarez likes to do, because he took a more of a sibling approach to his Evil Dead remake, which I reviewed last summer. I reviewed all like the 4 films that were available, and I think like he may have a sister, which is why maybe he's interested in the brother-sister dynamic type things, or maybe that's just a coincidence, who knows. But no, this is a good movie, and comment below, let me know. You probably have seen this by now. It's been out for 2 weeks, but comment below, let me know what you think about it. What's your favorite part? My favorite part is the ending, involving that final showdown with the alien. That's my favorite part, and how it sort of harkens back and connects to the original film. And yeah, I hope you had a very lovely August. I hope you have a very lovely September. I hope you had a very lovely day, week, month, whatever. Remember that God made you special. He loves you very much. And we're only doing 8 videos this month. I think September from now on, because it worked last year, I think September will be my cool down month, where I just make like 8 videos on whatever I want to, and all that good stuff. So remember that God made you special. He loves you very much. I hope you have a very lovely day. I hope you had a very lovely week. And as always, God bless y'all.